Tied for the longest game in Tadlock's tenure. Let's start with the bats and the doubles machine in Kevin Buzzell.
Yes, indeed. He is among the nation's leaders in doubles, he and Gage Harrelson. Couple of hits, 4 hits in Houston, couple RBIs. He's hit in all but one game this year, riding a 9-game hitting streak, batting .346 on the year. On the other side, it's Dylan Ditzenberger, and he has been fantastic. Reached base in 25 straight games. The senior third baseman had hits in all 4 games this weekend. He's batting an even .500, 21 for 42, and is ranked among the nation's leaders in several offensive categories, as you can imagine.
Yep, the Kansas transfer hit a leadoff home run in the win over St. Bonaventure last week. Some gaudy numbers offensively for New Mexico, and a tall task for the freshman making his first start as a Red Raider.
Yeah, and there you see the numbers for Zach Erdman. 4 innings, 4 hits, scoreless baseball, hasn't walked anyone, struck out 3. Opponents batting .267 off of the freshman from Keller, Texas.
Gus, you were on the call last week, Tuesday, when Erdman came in a 3-3 game in the top of the third against Air Force. He picked up the victory in the 9-4 win over the Falcons en route to Texas Tech's 10th straight win of the season, but a 1-2 mark in Houston has them falling out of the top 25. And when you look at Erdman, what is it about him that attacks hitters and creates so many ground balls?
Yeah, the thing that was so good about him this past weekend, it's not a high velo guy, certainly at 90-91 like you see so many of these guys, but command of all 3 pitches was what he had last weekend, and he did a really nice job of pitching to both sides of the plate and all those sort of cliche things that matter.
So you see Erdman line up on the first base side of that rubber, start Ditzenberger with a letter high strike as the 0-1 pitch is fouled off. We're off and running on a 70-degree Tuesday. Home plate umpire today, Demand Thomas, with Courtney Lawrence alongside Joe Landon and Kyle Parker. As we look at the Lobos batting order, top 5 in the nation in runs, number 1 in batting average at .376, but some opponents that have certainly bolstered those numbers, Gus. However, really impressive wins for UNM, opening their season against Oregon State and the Big West champs UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different looking ball club that Todd Brown brings in here.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball, and Ditzenberger, who is one of the hardest outs in the Mountain West Conference, goes down swinging for out number 1 as Jeffrey David, one of the 8 transfers on this New Mexico team, comes to the lineup against this defense, and it's been a defense that has gone up and down, but Buzzell was the highlight reel machine in Houston this weekend.
Yeah, he really was. He made a couple of fantastic plays, had a little throwing error against Rice, but was otherwise outstanding down there at Minute Maid.
Great breaking ball has David off balance, a transfer from Dallas Baptist, hitting in front of his fellow second-team all-conference hitter in Lenny Jr. Ashby. With the freshman Maxey behind home plate, we see Hudson White move over to second base, Gus, and he's making his first start over at second, so certainly something to keep an eye on for the freshman of the year who caught for most of his freshman season.
Yeah, an interesting look here. We've seen it a lot in inner squads. There's another good off-speed pitch from Erdman. David away out in front. Yeah, it's something we've seen before if we're, you know, over here watching inter squads and things like I do, but not something he's done in a game. Definitely didn't start a game there. Might have played an inning or 2 in relief. 1-2
pitch, squibbed out towards short, handled by Burns, as another first-year defender for Texas Tech has out number 2. And I'll tell you what, Erdman has been phenomenal. He made his first appearance against WIU on February 25th. A clean inning, allowing 2 runs in a blowout win, but we really saw him step up against Air Force a week ago. And the 0 walk number, Gus, is certainly one that has a lot of coaches turning their heads when having to scout against him, isn't it?
Oh, you bet. And it's obviously very early, but you love the fact that with the 0 walks is a guy that has pitched ahead for the most part, and that's a big deal. That's how you can get a guy like Ditzenberger to pitch a 2-strike breaking ball.
More ridiculous numbers here from the 3-hitter. Lenny Jr. Ashby DHing today for New Mexico as he takes high 2-0. 15-game hitting streak snapped in the blowout win on Sunday against St. Bonaventure, 16-6 in 7 innings for the Lobos. And I'll tell you what, maybe Ashby wanted some more innings in that one to try to chase the hitting streak as the count moves to 3-0.
Lenny Jr. Ashby, 3 hits against the Red Raiders in this ballpark in 2 games last year. He was a tough customer.
3-0 pitch from Erdman misses, so a 4-pitch walk. Respect given to the junior, second year with New Mexico. And well, you mentioned those meetings here at Rip Griffin. We had a historical Game 1 last year on March 15th, where Texas Tech scored 16 runs in the 2nd inning. That one was ugly, but then the next day we had a really tight game. Tech was down 1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kurt Wilson drove in the go-ahead run, and Tech would run away with a 7-run 8th en route to an 11-5 win. But New Mexico got revenge out in Albuquerque, an 11-10 victory in April, as Braden Runyon was a big part of that come from behind 4-run 9th inning for the Lobos as he takes low.
Braden Runyon spent a year on this Texas Tech roster 2 years ago.
Yeah, really interesting story for Runyon, isn't it? Transfer over to Walters State Community College last season, hit 13 home runs, 7th in the Mountain West Conference, and I'm sure he didn't sign up to have to face his former team every single season like New Mexico does.
Yeah, no doubt. That's kind of the nature of the beast these days.
1-1 count with a runner at first here in the top of the 1st inning. As Runyon goes the other way, slaps it over the second baseman White. Scooped up by Washburn, is holding at second base is Ashby, so a pair of 2-out base runners threatening, and it all started with that 4-pitch walk to Lenny Jr. Ashby, as one of the hottest hitting first basemen in the nation comes to the plate in the TCU transfer Reed Spenrath.
Left on left situation here.
First real test in the young career of Zach Erdman, who was cruising in his last outing against Air Force, allowed just 2 hits in the 3 innings. As the first pitch to the lefty Spenrath, huge cut.
That fastball in at 87 on the radar gun, stadium radar gun. The Coke bottle out in right center field.
Spenrath hitting 286, but most of that damage has been done in the last week and a half as a breaking ball misses inside. 7 games in a row with a run scored for this 5-hitting first baseman. Already matched his home run total as a Horned Frog last season with 4. As the 1-1 from Erdman comes in and hits him. So the front door breaking ball doesn't finish, and the bases are juiced here, all with 2 outs for New Mexico, as the junior catcher Jake Holland has a chance to make an impact. Well, we tried to get out of the way there.
Yeah, he did. A little off-speed pitch that just missed in and clipped the uniform. Now Zach Erdman trying to pitch out of a tough spot.
Yeah, one of those lineups here, Gus, that just gets tougher as it goes on. Holland hitting .433. He has 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. First pitch from the lefty is a fastball down the middle, cut on and fouled off. Transfer from Georgia Tech. Top 10 rated recruit as a catcher at a high school down in Orlando. And the nation's leading hitting team hoping to strike. A 1 pitch popped up in play as White will give way to Washburn, and he makes the grab. So 3 Lobos get stranded as Erdman works his way through the first, and we head to the bottom of the 1st inning. Back on this Tuesday afternoon, so happy that you're with us alongside Dr. Mike Gustofson. I'm Daniel Gillman as we take a look at the junior transfer from Las Cruces in Will Bannister, 6'3", 205 pounds. And Gus, big moments early for this first year as he picked up a save in the opening weekend against UC Santa Barbara, going 2 innings. Pretty good whip there with another 0 walk pitcher coming to the mound.
Yeah, second of these guys with 4 innings and no walks. He's a third-year man, junior college transfer from Pima Community College in Arizona. He is the pride of Las Cruces, New Mexico. Now, Las Cruces, the home of New Mexico State, and he chose to pitch for the Lobos, so that might be a problem with some of his neighbors back home. But at either way, it's a 6'3", 205-pound right-hander that's working to Nolan Hester.
First pitch to Hester, misses low and outside as Bannister sports that 2.25 ERA and takes on the first-year Red Raider, transfer from Wofford, coming off of a 3-hit performance on Sunday. See a bit of a shift there as the shortstop Weisenborn stands behind second base, and we take a look at the Red Raiders lineup. A couple changes, Gus, without Harrelson and Green out there for Coach Tadlock.
Yeah, Green left the ball game on Sunday with a little tweak in his lower body as his breaking ball's chopped foul, and so getting a new face in at second base, and that is the normal catcher for this ball club. And no surprise that Coach Tadlock alternating the catchers this early in the year, but Hudson White getting a shot at second base today to fill in for the ailing Green, and it's Owen Washburn in right field, subbing in for Gage Harrelson.
Yep, 1-2 pitch misses high and wide, and Washburn had a huge series against New Mexico last season. 2 hits in game 1 in Lubbock, and then 2 hits and 2 doubles in that game 3 loss in Albuquerque as Hester gets set for the 2-2 and squares one foul. A good battle brewing here to start the at-bat, which is all you can really ask for, right, from a leadoff hitter. You want to enable your dugout to watch every pitch that the pitcher has.
Yeah, ideally he sees a bunch of pitches and reaches base. Nolan Hester with a .524 on base percentage this year has done just that.
2-2 pitch going the other way, lifted up for Pigford as the Cal State Fullerton transfer makes the grab, and there's one out here in the bottom of the first inning, which will bring us to the New Mexico defense. And you've got Ditzenberger, who we highlighted over at third base, and Ashby getting the day off in the field, which leaves way for Runyon out and right. First pitch comes as Hudson White whiffs and pops one into shallow center. Ranging out Dixon as the second baseman off balance makes the catch for out number 2. So as we take a look at Will Bannister, Gus, he had 50 pitches in his 4 innings coming into today, 38 of them strikes, so a 78% strike rate, as we certainly will expect him to pound the zone.
Yeah, boy, that's the kind of thing you like to play behind too, especially on a Tuesday. Guy that's out there filling up the strike zone. It's not elite stuff, but it's good stuff. The fastball at 88. We've seen him land a breaking ball here early in this ball game.
Yep, 1-0 count to Bazell as the redshirt freshman from Rockwall takes low. You mentioned it in the open, a 9-game hitting streak for KB, who has hits in 12 of the 13 games this season for the 11-2 Raiders. 2-0 pitch, popped up again. So on a hitter's count, a fastball down the middle, given away to Dixon, and he will make his second catch in as many hitters. Clean first inning for Will Bannister, and we'll see Zach Erdman come back in the top of the second next.